Hello everyone, this is Chase Pounds. In today's video, I'm discussing is country music dying as a genre. Now, what brought me to this subject is on today's show. I heard on today's show on segment with Holden and Jenna, where someone had made a statement. I forget who was it that said this, but it was like a country singer who was saying that it seems like country music isn't hip as it used to be, and I heard, and that kind of stood out to me. Then I heard it somewhere else. It was some other sources I heard is that country music was dying. And I also was reading into this on the internet that maybe browsed the internet. It was on 4th of July. I had researched. I was browsing and I heard different comments and read different articles, different news articles. Is country music dying? And they have made reference to an interview. I think it was back in early 2020, prior to the start of the pandemic, and I don't remember this making the news. Loretta Lynn had made a statement in one of the interviews that, or I shouldn't say statement, but in her personal opinion, she thought the genre of country music was dying as a whole. Dying as in, it was dying as it was not the same as what she was, I guess, what she was brought up, the way she was brought up. In the I guess it's not from the same, as she said, it's not from the same roots. And maybe I could probably pull up and see where she had mentioned it. And like I said, I don't remember just making news, and she said that this is, I know she recently passed away, but a couple of years back in 2021, she had made a statement saying that country music was dying, and it made national, and this went viral. I guess her statement, I guess, spread across social media. Loretta Lynn, and my mother's a big Loretta Lynn fan. She's a fan of country music. She likes a lot of country music. She likes Reba McEntire. She likes Rascal Flatts, and she likes Darius Ruckers. I wasn't able to find out where she exactly said it, but she made an interview a couple of years back, as I said, that she said country music was dying. And it's another singer that made a similar claim that country music was dying. And I personally was thinking the exact opposite. In my opinion, I think country music is I was thinking that country music was one of the few genres that surpasses every generation. In my opinion, though I'm not a big expert in country music, and I'm not a country fan. Not that big fan of country music. the only few songs I do like. One is Nancy Sinatra's This one song I like by Nancy Sinatra is A Beautiful World Today. By Nancy Sinatra, that's one country song I like. Look at the sunshine, and every day is the same. I also like music. I kind of think of it, this is by Teresa Brewer in 1949, 1950. I personally think of it as a ragtime song. By Teresa Brewer in 1950. Anyway, those on a few country music. My two country songs that I kind of like, though. But other than that, I'm not really a country fan or a country expert of the history of the music. But it seems like there's never, with country music, it seems like it's been around. In my opinion, for every decade, surpassed every decade. It's never been an era compared to other noble genres such as jazz or disco, rock and roll, which had a period where they both ended at a certain point in time or defined a certain decade or generation, while country music seems like it always flourished through the decades since the 30s or the 40s, the 50s. I would say the 50s and 60s was the golden age of country. Was the height of country music at its height. But like other genres, it don't seem like country music's ever had a period where it stopped playing music altogether. If I'm not mistaken, such as just like certain other genres that defined it had ended abruptly, either due to an event or circumstances, such as the case with rock and roll. It was brought down. It was prevalent during the late 50s, mid to late 50s, and it abruptly ended. It shortly ended, mainly due to a series of factors. One, including the most notable incident, was a plane crash that killed several popular musicians of that period. Was Buddy Holly, the Crickets, and the Richie Valens and the Big Bopper died in the 1959 plane crash in Minnesota during a winter storm, and that was one of the key factors to bring rock and roll rock and roll to an end. It was often referred to today as music died. And other contributing factors, including Elvis Presley and winning the service, Little Richard went to the ministry, and Chuck Berry went to jail over the issue of having a minor over the caught smuggling a minor over the state border, and Jerry Lee Lewis was disgraced mainly due to his relationship to his young cousin, I think, and those events led to the fact of rock and roll coming to a close as a genre for quite some time. It would resurface again during the '60s with the British invasion. Well, it became more pop oriented in the early '60s, then as well was with Motown. Then the British invasion kind of brought back a resurgence in the genre rock and roll, even though it wasn't the same as it was as it started in the 50s. But that wasn't a period like that with country music, where it abruptly stopped because of a certain event or they stopped. Well, as far as I know, altogether they stopped playing because of certain circumstances, events like that, or the case with disco, where it was a riot in Chicago at a stadium where people were clashing, people who were against the disco style, and people who were more fans of the traditional rock and roll music, that they thought it should be banned and then sought to destroy the records and burn up records, everything associated with disco, because of its association with liberalness of LGBTQ in the soul black music. While most of these disco fans were white-blooded conservative Republicans, and but the fact that a massive riot caused a genre to become dormant, the abruptly end like that's never really occurred with country music or anything like that. So it seems like every decade country music has always been through a decade. It may not to say it may not have been as popular, but it seemed like it never completely went away through the decade. I don't think there was ever like a year or a gap in years where people stopped playing country music. And it seems like every now and again, country music, it finds its way on the Billboard charts. Though a lot of people say there hasn't been it's been on the country Billboard charts every year. I watch a music awards show with there's always a country music that it's always making the charts, while there's never these other genres such as rock and roll, or jazz, the blues, or other such music aren't ever making the charts. So I wouldn't say that country music has completely died. There's other genres that aren't prevalent, but you can hear them being played at events, or hear a certain person of a certain generation may listen to, but it's not played, but it's not mainstream as it was when that genre of music was popular. Same with jazz or ragtime. Ragtime was probably prevalent between 1895 to 1915, prior to the outbreak of World War I. After World War I, ragtime kind of went dormant. Ragtime abruptly ended. I should say sought the end of ragtime when the First World War occurred. This never happened with country music during the outbreak of World War II. Country music remained popular even through the post-war years. during the height of when like today there's a resurgence in cowboy fashion, cowboy themed attire. In the 50s, that saw was the first era where ending, I guess, the Western theme was prevalent, as well as with not only country music but TV shows, westerns. People dressed in cowboy outfits or the cowboy rope ties, and the hat or the hats. Hence, though, I think today it's starting to see resurgence in that. And but I wouldn't say country music has really died, in my opinion, though it may have changed, evolved. And I think the same association with country music still exists, such as the references in music, such as referencing nature, the Great Plains, and the attire, though I associate country with the boots, the hat, the checkered shirt. I think that's still elements that still exist today in country music, even though though some people may say it has changed. I guess the style may have changed, but I don't think the music as a whole completely went away. It's like with hip hop, I think the lyrics of hip hop, it changed, the message, the beat, it changed, such as it used to be during the late 70s, early 80s, that it used to be about being what it meant to be a kid, urban kid, to having a good time with your friends, your buddies, and Then during the 90s, it became more aggressive, more militant, as addressing the issue of police brutality, and up to today, where it's more toxic masculine. It reflects more toxic masculine traits, always degrading, always showing toxic relationships, always degrades women to a certain standard, and I think kind of hyper masculates men in a negative light, and so forth. Whereas with country music, it seems like the message has always been the same. I should say I guess the style never really went away, and that's what my opinions are on country music. Though I do agree, though, in recent years, it's gotten the performers, the singers are more diverse now than where in the past is more people of different cultures. I mean, people of different races, such as in recent years you have Lil Nas X, Mickey Guyton, Beyonce with her recent album Cowboy Carter, and you got Shabuzi, another up and coming country singer. So I think that's kind of making country more diverse, and I think that's maybe bringing back the popularity of country music to a wide range of people. And it was interesting. I asked a friend online. I'm not gonna mention the name of the person, but asked a friend on the site, on a social site, and I asked what do you think country, as a lady who is from Oklahoma, technically considered the South, you could define as the country. I asked her if you think country music is dying, and she said no, country music isn't dying when she named certain artists, and I named current people such as Beyonce going into country music, and she said that Beyonce should stay in her place and stick to pop music, not dabble in the country music, which that kind of surprised me. Though I heard people making similar negative comments, criticism on the news or on news about Beyonce should stay in her place, but just to hear it up in front from an actual person I was communicating with online, it really surprised me. Everybody's entitled to opinions though, but just I wasn't expecting that type of comment. In my opinion, I think Beyonce could do what she feels her calling is and what she feels that she wants to perform or what she wants to sing. And that's my opinion on country music. And that's another video about Change Pound. Stay tuned for the next video.